Now, this is where I like to talk about the hardest part of the business, okay, for most people coming into this business. And that is getting into a conversation. Now, last Wednesday, we did people sharing their testimonials. And the reason I did that is because I want to hear how people are sharing your testimonial, because a lot of people share their personal testimonial that has nothing to do with what other people are dealing with in their life. So you have a disconnect right away. Right. So what I want to talk to you about tonight, we're going to talk about that again on Wednesday night. And come on, share your testimonial, and I want to help you because your testimonial is a part of getting into a conversation, but it's not the beginning of the conversation. Okay. So I always like to talk about when you get into conversations, what not to do. All the books that I've read in my lifetime, I always try to learn from people that have 30, 40 years of experience of what not to do, because what not to do saves you money, it saves you time, and it saves you heartache. Okay. So if you can learn everything not to do, you're 70% of the way there, and then you just got to learn what to do. But the first thing you do not want to do in this business is vomit on people about this patch. That is not what you want to do when you first meet someone. Not within the first 30 seconds, 2 minutes, 3 minutes of talking to someone. You do not want to vomit on people about how excited you are about this business, okay? You also don't want to talk about this being a network marketing business. Now, if people ask me in the middle of the conversation, I don't hide it. I tell them it's a direct sales compensation model. It's not a Me Too product. There's no competition in this space, and it's helping millions of human beings. Okay, so I don't talk about it being network marketing right away. Okay, I also don't talk about the comp plan and how much money that you can make and how much money that I'm making. Okay, that's not the first thing that I do. The first thing that I do and how I open a conversation is I simply leave people with themselves. And what that means is I know a lot about them and they don't know anything about me. And how I accomplish that is by asking questions about them and being very engaged and authentic and trying to learn about what makes them tick. Okay. Now, the other way I do it is by their identity. Everyone has an identity. Okay. If you're a stay-at-home mom, that's your identity. It's a hard job. It's a lot of work. If you are a air traffic controller, if you are an engineer, if you are a car sales guy, or if you're in the mortgage business, real estate business, that's your identity. And the reason it's your identity is because it's what you spend a third of your life doing, right? 8 to 10 hours a day. That's a third of your life. And so that's what people connect with. If you're a professional baseball player, an actress, a singer, whatever it is, that is your identity. And that's what people talk about. The thing about the identity is most people don't care or don't want to talk about what people do for a living. They just don't care because they're so self-absorbed. What I wanted to help you do tonight is I want to help you switch the pitch. And what I mean by switch the pitch is I want you to get into a conversation with people that you leave them with themselves. And when you leave them with themselves, there's two things that happen. They immediately like and trust you because no one's ever done that before. Everyone likes to talk about themselves. But when you ask people questions about themselves, about their family, about their hobbies, about what they like to do, about what they do for a living, it changes the whole dynamic of the conversation. So this is how I do it. When I'm talking to someone, I'll ask them about their family. Now, this could be someone that I know very, very well, and I'm just catching up with them. This could be someone that's a complete stranger. It doesn't matter who you're talking to, right? I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to bring it back to their identity. So if it's someone I know and I haven't talked to them in a couple of years, how are the kids? How's your job? You still with Home Depot? Oh, no, not with Home Depot. What are you doing now? They're gonna tell you. Actually, I got my cosmetology license and I'm doing hair. Oh, wow, that's awesome. How long have you been doing that? I've been doing it a couple years. Amazing. You love it? Yeah, I like it, but you don't love it. I mean, I kind of love it. Well, tell me one thing you love about it, right? And I'm just engaging them, right? And I want them to tell me what they love about it. Maybe it's the people, maybe it's the arts, the artistic side of it. Whatever it is, I'm just getting into a conversation and getting to know the person. And then I'm gonna say, well, if you could change one thing about, being a cosmetologist, what would it be? I wish I could make more money. I wish I had different hours. I wish I had to work on the weekends. I wish I had to work evenings. Whatever it is, I'm just gathering information. I never strike and talk about what I do until they ask me. And that's what's going to happen. right? They're always going to ask you, well, what are you up to? What do you do? Right? That's what they're going to do. That's how they're going to interact. That's just the normal way people interact. So when they ask me, then I've got my 30-second commercial ready to go. And this is what you're going to have to practice, right? And this is what we're practicing on Wednesday. But my 30-second commercial has my testimonial involved. So when someone says, hey, what do you do? This is mine. You got to make it your own. Okay. When someone says, what do you do? I say, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I have 8 different businesses that I'm operating right now. But my two favorite are my financial services business and my stem cell business. Now, it just depends what they're more interested in, right? I'm going to give them a choice. If they ask me about my financial services business, I'm going to tell them about it. And then I'm going to say that, but the one I'm really excited about is the stem cell business because it's changed. Listen to these words. It's changed my life more than anything has ever changed my life before. And they're like, wow, how? Well, I mean, I feel better than I've ever felt. I'm changing more human lives than I ever thought possible, which just fulfills me more than you could ever imagine. And it's just an amazing, amazing thing that's happening to human beings. And then I will say to them, what do you know about stem cells? Okay, I haven't sold stem cells. I haven't sold a patch. I haven't talked about the X39 patch. I just said the stem cell business has changed my life more than anything has ever changed my life before. And what do you know about stem cells? Now I'm bringing the conversation back to them, right? I said 30 seconds. If you leave people with themselves, that doesn't mean you're talking the whole time. I'm not selling anything. I'm just sharing with people. And they, oh, I don't know much about stem cells, or I know they're expensive, or they're illegal in the US, or you can only get them in Mexico and Panama, or whatever it is. And I'm gonna say, well, this is the most important thing that I learned about stem cells is that between the age of when you're born and 30 years old, 50% of them go dormant. And between the age of 30 and 60, 95% of them are dormant. And that's why people age so aggressively. The other thing I learned about stem cells is stem cells keep us young. They keep us healthy. They help us fight disease. And again, you guys can watch this recording and practice this. Keep them young. Keep me healthy. They fight disease. This is what keeps people up at night. People don't want to age. They want to stay healthy. They don't want to get sick, right? And they want to feel good. Everyone wants to feel good because when you feel bad, when you get sick, when you get a cold, that's when you start to really, really appreciate your life. Because you're like, man, it sucks to be sick. So I want to talk about things, and that's it. And then the questions just start coming in. And so I'll ask people like, well, what's your day-to-day energy level in that conversation? Do you deal with any discomfort or pain in your body? If I see somebody drinking an energy drink, I'm going to go up to them, I'm going to get in a conversation with them, and then eventually I'm going to say to them, do you know what you're putting into your body?